Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Okay. So we are on verse 27 of Bhagavad Gita chapter 5. We are going to do 27 and 28 together because they go together. The one thought starts at 27 and completes at 28, so they go together. So just to recap what we did in what we have been doing last couple of verses, Krishna Bhagwan is talking about the characteristic of the realized soul. So that's our goal. We are not there yet, but by observing and knowing what they are all about, then we kind of ourselves know what the goal is and we can move towards that. And he talks a lot about Kam and Krodh. And so basically the realized person has conquered over the Kam and Krodh. But Krishna Bhagwan is very kind. So he also mentioned that even if you have not reached that stage yet, if you can, उसका जो जोर है उसको तुम कम कर लो, तो भी you are a winner. Or don't come under the sway of Kam and Krodh, then also you will be a happy person. So he even gave us that tip. So we all have to work on that a lot. And then these two verses that we are going to do today, that is about meditation. According to, what you call Bhagavad Gita, what is exactly meditation? What kind of adjustments we have to make? What we have to do? We have to be thinking about or not thinking about? All those things are there. And the detail is in chapter 6. This is just a preview. And, and then Swamiji explains that this is a Upanishadic style, that what the next chapter is going to be, it gives you a hint what it's going to be. But every verse we have a lot to learn from and contemplate upon all that. And amazingly enough, Kathopanishad is a very similar thing going over there. So whatever we are doing over here, Kathopanishad is clarifying further and all that. So amazing synchronization is happening in both places. So with that little background, I'm going to chant the two verses, and then we'll discuss what other Swamis and all said, and then we'll read Swamiji's commentary. So verse 27. Sparshan krutva bahirbayan chakshushaivantare bhruvoho pranapanau samo krutva nasabhyantaracharino. And 28. Yatendriyamano buddhi munir moksha parayanaha vigatecha bhaya krodha yah sada mukta eva saha. So let's do the Sanskrit for both. Sparshan is contacts, sparsh karna. Krutva, rendering or shutting out, like shutting the senses. That's what basically he's talking about. Bahi, outside. The senses are kind of bahirmukhi and shutting them off. Bahyan, external. Chakshuhu, eyes. Or here it's gaze. It's the same thing. Cha is and, eva is even, antare, in the middle. Bhruvoho, of the two eyebrows. So basically he's pointing, right at this chakra over here, this between the eyebrows. Pran apano, the outgoing and incoming breaths. All the people who do pranayama, they know about pran and apan, incoming breath, and then when we, breathe out, that is apan, prana, apana. Samo, equalize them. Krutva, having made. वो करने के बाद kind of. Nasabhi antara charinau, moving inside the nostrils. So it's talking about pranayama. And then the next verse, उसमें है yatendriya manobuddhihi, with senses, mind and intellect, ever controlled. Munihi is the sage, but there's a little deeper meaning, जो मननशील होता है, the one who contemplates. Moksha parayanaha is having liberation as a supreme goal. So this is a very important word over here that we'll see. No other goal in your mind. Sometimes we say, I'm doing meditation for health purposes, this and none of that. That's not Vedanta what he's saying. It's moksha parayan ke liye tum kar rahe ho. Vigataha, ichha bhaya krodha, free from desire, fear and anger. And all these are like related to each other that we have seen. Yah is who, sada is forever, muktaha is free, eva is verily. Eva means samjho ho gaya, and we'll go a little bit more into that word, what it means over there. Sa is he. So basically he's talking about, first what we'll do is we'll just see exactly what he's saying, the word meaning, and then we will go a little bit more deeper into it. So word meaning is that shutting all contacts of the five sense objects, because they are bahirmukhi. So he's saying that उनका जो स्पर्श है ना उसको बंद कर दो, in a sense. See, we cannot really, आंखें तो हम बंद कर सकते हैं, so दृश्य देखना बंद हो जाएगा, but कान नहीं बंद कर सकते हैं, नाक नहीं बंद कर सकते हैं. It is like mentally kind of shutting them off. That's what basically it means. And what the Dilliwale Swami was explaining, keep the world outside only. उसको अपने दिमाग में मत घुसने दो, kind of, keep sense objects outside, they belong outside, just leave them outside. So, and the other thing that he says is to do is focus your eyes in between the eyebrows. So Swamiji is going to explain that don't think of this sentence as like a very literal sentence, because he's saying if you will आंखें खोल के अगर तुम यहाँ देखना शुरू करो तो हेडेक हो जाएगा तुमको. उसका deeper meaning है, कि क्या. So basically, what it is that, okay, we'll go that in later. Let's finish the whole thing and then we'll see what he means by that, अपने भावों के बीच में लेके आओ ध्यान को. So, and the other one is breathing. So make the breathing harmonized. प्राण और अपान को ना बैलेंस कर दो. लेकिन जब हम लोग जब भी अपसेट होते थे कैसे हाइपर वेंटिलेट करना शुरू कर देते, वो calm your breath down. That's why a lot of people use breathing as a technique also in meditation. And then he said the next one he says is controlling the mind, senses, mind and intellect. That's what. And this particular person who is like a muni, or muni उसको बोला गया जो मननशील हो, one who has gone through all the reflections, intellectually understood what is the nature of self. That is mananshil person. And this moksha parayanaha, taking moksha as a supreme goal when you're sitting in there. That time you have no other agenda, but that I want to become free. And this person is also free from desire. So ichha, bhaya and krodh. And we saw that the whole thing starts with the desire, and the desire is also in such a way that it doesn't have to be desire for just a material thing. We have gone through it very, very detailed. It could be, I want this person to behave this way, I want this situation to be like that. All of that come under desire. So objects as well as feelings and things and situations. So when we do, हमारा इच्छा पूरी नहीं होती, anger and fear come, so they are related. अगर ये सब इस मुनि ने कर लिया, मुनि उसको बोला गया जो मननशील है, जो बैठा हुआ है मतलब मेडिटेशन के लिए, अगर उसने ये सब कर लिया, समझो कि वो लिबरेट हो गया. Means he is almost at that door that he is going to become liberated. So for us, these are the adjustments we have to make. That's how we have to look at it, that, hey, I'm not there yet, but these are the adjustments we have to make. So let's go a little bit more in detail now. So, you know how the Swamis explain it in a better way, so I'll bring some of those points. That he's saying that when we sit in meditation, after gaining the complete understanding of what pure self is intellectually, theoretically we should definitely know everything. So if you prematurely sit, then you won't know what my goal is, right? So what do I know by doing contemplation and everything? That I am that consciousness. I'm not the body, mind, and intellect. I am pure. I am not the doer. Very, very important. I'm not the doer. And the, consciousness is same in all beings. No superiority, this and that, all the beings are same. And I'm infinite. And I'm free from modifications. All these details we have gone through, all these things, you should be totally convinced about it when you're sitting. He's talking about the final stages. So this is the goal. It's possible that we still have doubts about certain things, we are not there yet, but he's talking about what should be the goal. So he's saying, after all this, then you practice this meditation. And then how to sit and what to do and all that is coming in detail in chapter 6. वो आसन भी बताएंगे कैसा होना चाहिए, ना सॉफ्ट जाना, ना कठोर वगैरह वगैरह, and रीढ़ की हड्डी सीधी होनी चाहिए. All that we won't do right now because that will come in chapter 6. But this is just basics. And then after you sit down, after knowing this whole thing that I talked about, at that time when you are sitting, keep the world outside only. Okay. Because we have to take the inner journey. And inner journey is, what is that inner journey? The drishta and drishya, they call it. So seer and seen. Knowing that what I see outside in the world, they're just objects, it's seen. But I am the seer. I am the drishta. So this is a journey towards the drishta, basically. Toward the seer, if I want to say in English. And so now the question is, what does it mean that keep the world outside? Because the world to outside here, right? What do they mean by that? What they mean by that is, don't contemplate upon any of those things. घर में क्या हो रहा है, family में क्या हो रहा है, बाहर दुनिया में क्या हो रहा है, pandemic चल रहा है. None of that. So you are not contemplating on anything because you're moksha parayana. That's what it is. And जो जितनी भी चीजें हैं ना, उसको मन से बाहर रखो. Because as I said, that we cannot close our nose, or we cannot close our ears. So basically, because you are moksha parayana, they will stay out. You're determined about that. Okay. Because what happens according to the Swami, Nikhilanandji, that these objects enter our system, like our mind and system hi bol do, our senses bring it in, and even if senses are not bringing memory se bhi andar aa jate hai, right? So he's saying that mind is like a miracle only. He say, if I say a word monkey right now, तुम्हारे दिमाग में monkey घुस जाएगा, and the monkey will start jumping in your mind. It is that quick that it happens, and he's saying that. So what Bhagwan is saying over here, don't, कोई word है ना अपने अंदर घुस जाएगा, फिर हम उसमें अपना मसाला भी ऐड करते हैं. अरे वो monkey मैंने वहाँ देखा था, वो ऐसा था, वो काला था, वो था. There's so much story we build around it. So he's saying that literally that monkey will become alive in your brain. That's how it is. Like, this is what mind can do to you. So basically, outside object, people, places, and situation, just keep them out, because he said that the truth is they are not required for meditation. That's what he's saying. Because for the meditation, if we are moksha parayan, then we don't need all that, right? We are going journey toward, that's why we don't need them. And he's saying that if we are able to do that, automatically the agitations of mind at that time will be controlled. Okay? And he said that the next thing now, when he talks about your gaze should be between your eyebrows. What does it mean? So he says that Swamiji is also going to explain in his commentary. But basically what he's saying that जो eyes होते हैं ना, अचंचल बोलते हैं ना आँखों को, and they are very sensitive. According to the science, they are very sensitive to dream also. Everybody has heard of rapid eye movement, right? When they do this research, they find that when we are dreaming, there is 2 stages of sleep. One is called deep sleep, sushupti, and one is called swapna avastha. When we take dream, and when we are dreaming, we have a rapid eye movement, because eyes are very sensitive to all the thoughts and all that. So it's saying that that's what happens. That eyes को अगर तुमने थोड़ा सा control नहीं किया ना, तो इधर उधर भागेगी, and then your mind will get disturbed. So और saying that अब कोई restless आदमी होता है ना, उसकी आंखें कभी भी सीधी नहीं रहेंगी, आंखें इधर उधर भागती है restless की, वो constantly movement होता है आंखों में, you know. And he's saying, but if you see a calm person, then उसकी आंखों में इतनी गहराई होती है. A calm person, you can literally see another Brahmand in it, according to him, another, whole universe you can see in somebody, because they're still and calm. Like he was talking about Ramana Maharishi or some of these saints and sages, their eyes. So he's saying that also scientifically, when we are very upset, depressed, and not feeling so good, हमारा दृष्टि नीचे हो जाती है. So, it's like, जैसे मुंह लटका के कोई बैठता है तो ऐसे करके बैठता है, नीचे दृष्टि हो जाती है. So when you are looking at upward, and when they are saying that focus is between here, it's an upward gaze, upward angle, because it's uplifted. So it's something, so there is a scientific reason according to them that when they say look up means inspiring thoughts, going beyond ordinary thinking. That's what it is, looking up. So, and they're not talking about, opening your eyes and then looking over here. They're talking about closing your eyes and having the gaze. And the other thing, just practically, I was just saying that whenever we want to even concentrate, it kind of happens here. तभी कभी कुछ बहुत सोचना होता है, हम लोग ऐसे करके नहीं बैठ जाते हैं, यहाँ पर हाथ रखते हैं. Like we want our सारा ध्यान to come over here. That's what it means. Bring all your dhyan over here. So, what does this do? This helps to quieten the mind. Because तुम्हारा whole idea is कि तुम्हारा अपने जितने भी senses हैं उन सबको withdraw करना ना. This helps in withdrawing the senses and bringing it here. That's the whole idea over here. And then, Kamla ji is here, and I know she will talk about chakras also. There is a chakra right there, and so even that matches कि भाई यहाँ पर ध्यान लगाओ. And then now next is pranayama. So everybody over here, we know that breath is related to our thoughts. If we have disturbed thoughts, we know that when we get angry, the first thing that happens is hyperventilation. We start breathing fast and erratic and angry, and some people का तो लगता है जैसे heart attack आने वाला हो, because of the breathing. Breathing is going out of control. So they are trying to catch it the other way. कि breathing को शांत करोगे और balance करोगे तो तुम्हारा mind भी balance हो जाएगा. So it's like doing all these finer adjustment. And what the Dilli wale Swami was saying, just by looking at somebody's breathing, कि बंदा शांत है या नहीं. अगर वो शांत है तो उसका एकदम regulated breathing होगा, एक अच्छा rhythm होगा. And he was saying that जैसे कि कोई एक boat चल रही हो पानी में, पानी बहुत धीरे से gently चल रही हो, बहुत disturb नहीं कर रही हो. So that's the analogy he gave, and he also gave कि rhythm के लिए उन्होंने कहा जैसे कोई तबला बजाता है ना, एक rhythm में बजाता है तो कितना अच्छा लगता है, तो ऐसे breathing होनी चाहिए एकदम rhythm में, nothing disturbing and all that. And then he also said one more important thing, that some of the people who are not used to sitting quietly, and he gave the example of like जैसे वर्कोहलिक लोग होते हैं ना, कॉन्स्टेंटली कुछ कुछ करना चाहेंगे, मतलब उनको पूछो कि क्यों कर रहे हैं तो उनको मालूम भी नहीं है आधे टाइम, आदत पड़ गई है, like has to constantly doing something. But he's saying in meditation you cannot be like that. Basically there is nothing to see, hear, touch, taste, and you will see that how the same thought is going to come in Kathopanishad, that Atma is beyond all these things, beyond seeing, touching, feeling, all of that is beyond. That's why there is no role to play in meditation of these senses. That's what they are trying to remind you. So if there is no role, then you don't need to indulge in that. And the other point that he said that was very good, that if I have understood to the absolute extent that what intellectually, that what Atma is or what Brahman is, then I will not have questions. Because now he's talking about intellect ko kaise quiet kiya jaye. We talked about breathing, we talked about mind, we talked about senses, and now the intellect. Intellect is that questioning part of the brain, right? So basically mind is the feeler and the intellect is the questioner. So the questioning part also, he is completely satisfied because सारे प्रश्नों के उत्तर उसको मिल गए हैं. He has contemplated, he's gone to his guru, he's asked all the different questions. He's talking about the final stage. We may not be there yet. But remember, he's just telling you how that person is at that point in meditation. So basically he's saying mind और intellect दोनों को holiday पे भेज दिया है. छुट्टी दे दी उनको. तुम्हारा कोई काम नहीं है. And then how he explained was so beautifully that when we do our japa, when we do chanting, or when we do some kind of concentration, होता है ना कि भाई concentration in when we sit quietly. He's saying all that technically is not meditation. Because in that you do require the mind, right? If you want to chant something, you need speech, So we don't think about this kind of fine things, but here he's telling you about that. That's very, very important. So he's saying that when we are engaging with the mind and senses, technically, according to Vedanta, it's not meditation. And then secondly, that very, very important thing, that the meditation is actually a state, not a kriya. Because हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, I am meditating. According to pure Vedanta, that's not technically not correct. It's a state that you read, you are preparing for meditation. That's what you can say. I'm preparing for meditation. And we'll do a little bit on that more because I think that's a very important point. But he kind of went a little more in detail about this word muni, mananshil, through contemplation. What has he understood? He's understood nature of the self. And I already discussed that I'm not a doer. I am this pure consciousness, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, सच्चित आनंद जिसको बोलते हैं ना. He knows that that's the swarup I am. And he's saying that I am free from all bondage, And if I'm feeling that I'm bound, it's only, this is a false thing. Right? Because we don't feel completely free, but उसको इतना convinced हो गया है कि I am just assuming that I'm bound or limited. Actually, I'm not. Okay? And then the last part, that, moksha parayana, not last part, but one of the things, that what is moksha parayana? Single pointed agenda of gaining the moksha. And that's where he explained that meditation, like sometime in the West, they will say, oh, blood meditation से blood pressure ठीक हो जाता है और वो हो जाता है, but वेदांत कहता है कि it's not indulging in all that. वो side benefits मिल जाएगा, वो बात अलग है. But in Vedanta, you're not doing it to get good sleep or to balance your BP or digestion, none of that. So therapeutically, you're not doing it. You're doing it for moksha parayana. That's the whole thing. And I remember, one time, Goenkaji from Vipassana, right? He had come to Houston and he gave a public lecture. And he told everybody how he got into this And some of you might already know it, and if you don't, it's very interesting. He said he was a businessman. And I think he used to live in Burma, someplace like that. And he said that it used to give him a lot of stress, and he started getting horrible migraines. And he went to all the doctors, tried to do every medicine, nothing worked. Somebody told him that, hey, you know, falana, like lama type ke log hote hain, like Buddhist monks. He's there, he can help you. So he went there because he had a migraine. So he went to his guru, and he approached him and he said, look, I got migraine and I am told that you can help me with it. And he's saying, बस इतनी सी चीज के लिए मेरे पास आया है. You know, अरे मैं तुझे जो सिखाऊंगा उसे तो जन्म जन्म तेरे सब खत्म हो जाएंगे. जन्म जन्म का चक्कर. Oh my God, he said, that's how he started. He's saying that all of a sudden he realized, my God, this migraine, so it's just like a small cookie over there. He was going to give me something so much bigger, you know. That's what I remembered. So this is what they're talking about, that your goal should be moksha parayana, final state, you know, I want to get to that. That anxiety has to be there in you, nothing else, okay? And then he was explaining that in detail, that how we should try to understand the technical part of this meditation. So real meditation is a state where you are connected with that higher completely. You have become one with it, okay? Uske pehle jo tum bhi karte ho na, it's called practicing to get there, preparing to get there. And the sleep is the best example. That he's saying that there are two different kind of people. One is trying to sleep and one is asleep. Those are two different people. When you are trying to sleep, you are not sleeping yet. You are preparing and practicing, bolna chahiye, you know. So he's saying that's what is the technical difference. So we should remember that. And then he brought in Ashtavakra Gita, that he said, actually, a lot of people are afraid of that final state because it's a death of an ego, he said. And ego is going to fight it to stay alive. Because nobody likes to die. Ego doesn't like to die either. In fact, I think in Buddhism, I was listening to one of Osho's talk the other day, and he was talking about that जब final stages होता है ना, तभी वो ये western country में बोलते हैं ना, devil attacks you. तुम्हारी परीक्षा लेने के लिए आ जाता है literally. You know, इसलिए devil कोई बाहर से नहीं आता है, तुम्हारे मन का ही है. Because your mind doesn't want to finish. Your ego doesn't want to finish, because he said that if you really think about it, when the body dies, then also ego doesn't die. Right? It takes birth in another life. So here, because you are talking about that final death of the ego, that's the state they are talking about. Okay? So I thought that was a very important point that he brought, that even with the death, the ego doesn't die, but here in this kind of meditation, they are talking about annihilation of the ego completely. And then he gave us the most beautiful analogy that will go in the modern world. You know, Nikhil Anandji, he said, कि अपना computer होता है ना, तो something that we don't want, we put it in trash, don't we? We want to delete it. So where does it go? In trash. But you know we can retrieve it from the trash. All of a sudden say, oh, I don't want to delete this. Then you go back to trash and pull it out, right? So it's saying ego is like that too. Oh, you think you finished it? No, वो वहीं बैठा हुआ है. लेकिन उसको empty करना पड़ेगा trash को. Once you empty it, then it's gone. Okay? So this final step is there with the ego. I thought that was such a brilliant analogy he gave, that, you know, how ego can suddenly rise up again. You know? So basically he's saying that they are talking about a stage where your personality completely dissolves. And he gave the example of like a rainbow. The rainbow came and they got dissolved. Or some clouds, you know. Clouds come and they have some formation and you can't hold on to it, right? After a while, wo chinna bhinna hoke chala jayega. Like that, he's saying that your ego and your personality is completely finished. It's not going to coming back. And what will happen? That's the last part. Sada mukta eva sa. That person is completely free. And basically he said the fear is gone. Fear of limitation is gone. And that's why it is like, and it's like completely merged with the higher self or Brahman. Okay. And such a person is considered free or mukt. And there are a couple of words in Vedanta. It's called Nirvikal Samadhi. You heard of this word Nirvikal. So Nirvikal Samadhi पे पहुंच जाता है वो, और वहाँ पर उसको duality experience नहीं होती है, इसलिए ego is dropped. He doesn't, किसी में difference नहीं दिखता है वो. And there is one more word in Vedanta that they use, you might be familiar with, the aparoksh anubhuti. Means उसको direct experience होता है. And he's saying that कृष्ण भगवान बोलते हैं अगर इस स्टेज में कोई पहुंच गया ना तो उसको तुम मुक्ति समझो. वो मतलब he's at the exit door. He's just about to go there. बोलते हैं ना कि फाइनल डोर भगवान खोलते हैं, something like that, Brahman will accept you. He's at that stage that it's होने वाला है उसका बस. तो यहाँ पर भी एकदम फाइनल नहीं बोला है, he's sitting at the door. Okay, so this is what he's talking about. This is the path that he's talking about, and what he actually experiences will come in the verse 29. That's the final verse of this chapter. So this is all this in there. Any question, comment, or anybody wants to add anything?
मुझे आप बोल रही थी कि जैसे जब आप जप करते हैं तो that is not considered meditation. मगर यदि आप रामायण में बोले तो वही बोल रहे हैं कि नाम ही से मोक्ष होता है.
See, when they say that, they are not saying that don't do it. So don't misunderstand that at all. Because sometimes, like some of the Swami say, ये सब पढ़ने के बाद तुम बोलोगे और जप करने की क्या जरूरत है? वो हम लोग को बहुत जरूरत है. Because हम अभी पहुंचे नहीं है वहाँ पे. So jap से क्या होता है? Concentration बढ़ता है. And like jap has other benefits also. The sound and all, very scientific. It purifies and quietens our mind. It makes us fit for that final state. But if you start thinking that japa is a meditation, or chanting is a meditation, or just sitting and concentrating in a meditation, uska wo log bol rahe, it is not. It's like मेरे को एक पहाड़ की चोटी पे पहुंचना है, लेकिन मैं कैसे पहुंचूं, मेरे को बीच बीच में करना पड़ेगा ना ये सब पहुंचने के लिए. That's what it means. All they are saying is don't consider japa as your final goal, or this thing as a final goal. But it can take you there, for sure. It's a means to reach that state. That's all they are saying. For a lot of people, if japa is making your mind quiet, by all means we need to do it. But there are some people who do japa, they'll take a mala and they will say, oh, I gotta just finish 108. And वो गुस्सा आ रहा है, ये हो रहा है, kitchen में ध्यान जा रहा है, then that's not going to happen. But if you are doing japa as a correct method, then it can take you. और किसी को भक्ति मार्ग में नाम स्मरण will take you too, because वो नाम स्मरण ऐਵੇਂ ही नहीं करता है ना, वो सोच के करता है. And he's doing it because he's connected with that higher through that. So if you do with feeling and you do with the correct method of naam smaran, it will definitely purify your mind. I hope I answered that question. Or anybody else wants to add anything can do that to that. Prabhakarji, Dr. Prabhakar.
Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
I just wanted to take us back on the verse 27.
Mm-hmm.
And the meaning is shutting all the external contacts, and then the world, we are going to keep the world outside as outside, and focusing the gauge in between the eye and breathing is harmonized.
Mm-hmm.
And my point here is that, of course, what to be done, it is said. How it has to be done, maybe that in next chapter it might come.
Yeah, all those adjustments will come. Yeah. Yeah.
So my point is that I just wanted to take back on to the previous question on the japa and and also the chanting. Would that japa, chanting, concentration will facilitate all this, shutting the external contacts, keep the world outside.
Yes.
So maybe as a preparation for the meditation, we can do all that to address the meaning of that 27th verse.
Yeah, I think you got it correct. That's exactly what it is. See, there are some people like Joe is not here today. Joe talks about his previous lives and things like that. He has done so much meditation. Some people can just sit like this. Within 2 minutes, they are quiet. And we have, people like us, we have to, come to a room, quieten everything. And some people even put some, kya bolte hain, agarbatti and all. If that's what helps them, totally fine. But goal sabka wahi hai, but method alag-alag ho sakte hain. There are some people who do open eye meditation too. That's also fine. Tratak karte.
Is it allowed?
Yeah. All those things are okay because we have gone through it in chapter 4. There are different upasanas and what you connect to only. That's why they say that this thing is a very personal journey.
Okay.
We cannot copy anybody. But if I know the goal, my goal is to shut everything out, become moksha parayan. How do I do that? Only I know my mind. I know my own monkey. I know my own monkey, how to quieten it. So I can, ना मैं किसी पे थोपूं अपना method, ना मैं किसी को copy करूं. I go quietly myself and see where do I need to make adjustment. And even desire, kama, krodha and bhaya and all those things, I should see that, hey, what is causing it? What kind of desires are causing it? And not blame other people. Oh, that person made me angry. Because immediately जब गुस्सा आता है ना, सबसे पहले दूसरे को blame करते हैं हम लोग. All those adjustments, so that's what it is.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we read Swamiji's commentary? Okay. Any volunteer to read from this blue book? If not, I'm going to pick Anilji to read.
I have a different book though, जिसका जो हिंदी में उसको बोला मैं पढ़ सकता हूँ.
नहीं, हम लोग English ये वाली book, so it will be consistent, and this is the book I will read it from.
Okay.
Yeah. And as I said, that I'll be happy to get whoever wants this whole set. Anilji.
Shutting out all external contacts and fixing the gaze as though between the eyebrows, equalizing the outgoing and incoming breath, moving within the nostrils, with senses, mind and intellect ever controlled, having liberation as a supreme goal, free from desire, fear and anger, the sage is verily liberated forever. In these two aphoristic stanzas, the Lord has hinted at the summary of the entire following chapter. This is the traditional style in Sanskrit textbooks on Brahma Vidya, wherein each section is closed, often indicating the following section.
So you saw that how the tradition is there, that next chapter क्या आने वाला है, उसका जैसे बोलते हैं ना कि advertisement दे दिया क्या आने वाला. So अगर हमको सब कुछ समझ में नहीं आया ना अभी, don't worry about it, because the whole chapter 6 is about meditation. So we will know exactly what it is, what we should be doing and all that, everything will come. Yeah.
The above verses give us a complete picture of the man of perfection and his purposeful life at all levels of his existence. Students of Vedanta are ever anxious to live the perfection. They are not dreamers, content with flirting with utopian idealisms, but they are the most utilitarian, practical men of the world who want to live a more purposeful, efficient, and effective life in this world. Therefore, they are not enamored of mere ideas, however noble they may be, unless those ideas can actually be lived in life.
So here we have talked about it that कृष्ण भगवान ने पहले गोल बताया फिर कैसे पहुंचना. अभी कितने सारी बातें तो यहाँ पर इसमें ही बता दी 2 वर्सेस में, राइट, कि क्या क्या करना पड़ेगा. एंड इसमें अपने को कितना होमवर्क करना पड़ेगा. देखो, we have to equalize our breath, we have to learn to look, bring our mind here, we have to calm क्रोध और ये सबको कंट्रोल करना पड़ेगा. मतलब कितनी सारी चीजें ऑलरेडी बता दी. Practical. Hey, can I do this? And the whole method. That's what he's saying. That without that, just living in some kind of a dream thing, that's not there. They will not be satisfied.
How to achieve the perfect mental equipoise, which has been indicated in the previous stanzas, should be the question that must agitate the minds of all true seekers. Here, as a summary, with lots of dots and dashes, Krishna is giving the scheme of practice by which every diligent pursuer can gain in himself a complete integration. These 2 stanzas become rough notes to be enlarged upon and exhausted with details and descriptions in the next chapter.
So he already said it, that these are just, it's going to be enlarged and exhausted. And also this complete integration. So what Naresh ji was talking about, that Nam Smaran and Japa and all, they help us to integrate our personality. So these are they are the helpers in that.
The external world of objects, it has already been said, cannot by itself bring any disturbance to any one of us. It is only when we are in contact with the world of objects outside that we suffer the agitations in life. So long as we are standing on the bank of a river or on the seashore, the waves in the water cannot buffet us. It is only when we are in contact with them that we will be tossed hither and thither. Forms, sounds, tastes, smells, and touches constantly bring their objects to agitate the mind, but we shall get agitated by them only when we are identifying ourselves with our mental conditions. If we therefore shut out the external objects, not by physical methods such as plugging the ears, but by discrete intellectual detachment from our mental reactions to the external world of objects, we shall discover in ourselves the necessary tranquility to start meditation.
So he's telling you the whole thing that, artificially plugging and all, that's not going to work because both na andar se khayal aana shuru ho jayega. So intellectually understanding everything. And also very important point that Swamiji brought out over here, that the world outside is not capable of disturbing us until we engage with it. And then I remember that one drishtant, whoever has been in the class for long enough, I told you that drishtant fits here perfectly when this fellow, whoever joined new can enjoy this drishtant, that this fellow goes to his guru and says, this world is really disturbing me so much. My family, my people, my job, everybody is just bothering me constantly, So he's saying, what should I do? So the guru said, Kal subhana, So then Kal subha wo gaya, to guru was hugging a tree tight. And he's saying, ye tree mere ko nahi chhod raha hai, chudao. And he's saying, what are you doing? Just do like this, and that you are holding the tree. Tree is not holding you. So he said, just like the sansar is not holding you, you are holding the sansar. I thought that was such a brilliant example, because we always think that, everybody. No, it's like we are engaging with it. We are constantly doing. That's what he's saying. That once we understand that, then it will get disengaged. Just by forcing it, it won't. And the other one I wanted to bring up that is going to come in next chapter is when Arjuna said that my mind is like a powerful wind. What should I do? I can't control it. It's like a hurricane wind, my mind. He said, Vairagya and Abhyas. Those are the 2 things he told them to do. You can control your mind. And Vairagya comes with, discriminating a real and unreal. And then I think somebody put on our that Upanishad chain or other one about this lady who was going to go to some nursing home. right? I don't know how many of you read that. And the people who are here new, we have two other chains that in our WhatsApp, where we share all these nice drishtant and all that. I can add you on that if you like. कि भाई वो जब जा रही थी लेडी तो उसको पता चला कि कितना कूड़ा कचरा इकट्ठा करके रखा है और किसी को कोई वैल्यू नहीं है उसकी, सब बेकार जाने वाला. So like at our stage we have to lighten our load, so we don't have to deal with it so much. I thought that was a good one. So that also fits over here. हम लोग ही पकड़ के रखते हैं सब कुछ, एंड में किसी को कोई वैल्यू नहीं होने वाली उसकी. एंड our next generation, उनको हमारी चीज़ों की कोई वैल्यू नहीं है, because they are, and that is normal because they have their own things, yeah.
Swamiji, this जो हम जपा करते हैं, is it the same as abhyas?
Yeah, you can call it. All of that comes under, it's like you can look at it as purifying the mind.
Yeah.
Right? Because the whole purpose is कि जब तक पूरा mind pure नहीं होएगा हम वहाँ नहीं पहुँच सकते. Right? So it is purifying. Japa is in fact a very powerful technique, and in Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna Bhagwan said, सारे यज्ञों में मैं जप यज्ञ हूँ, means I am